Hi. So let's do a read. We're gonna start with the biology of belief. I'm gonna just flip. This is page 110 and 111. As you can see here. Okay. And hundreds upon hundreds of other scientific studies over the last 50 years have consistently revealed that invisible forces of the electromagnetic spectrum profoundly impact every facet of biological regulation. These energies include microwaves, radio frequencies, the visible light spectrum, extremely low frequencies, acoustic frequencies, and even a newly recognized form of force known as a scalar energy. Scalar, SCALAR. I don't know. Specific frequencies and patterns of electromagnetic radiation regulate DNA, RNA, and protein synthesis, aka enzymes. Other proteins shape and function and control gene regulation, cell division, cell differentiation, metamorphosis, or morphogenesis, the process by which cells assemble into organs and tissues, hormone secretion, nerve growth, and function. Each one of these cellular activities is a fundamental behavior that contributes to the unfolding of life. Though these research studies have been published in some of the most recent and respected mainstream biomedical journals, the revolutionary findings have not been incorporated into the medical school curriculum. So basically, I'm just going to break that down as meaning that everything has a frequency, including DNA. So one of the really cool things about DNA and nucleotide cells, if you will, is that they've got the ability to kind of take on different traits, different frequencies, like it said in the book. So we can all choose which frequency we want to embody. Oftentimes, we are embodying what we intend to embody. However, that being the case, there are also instances where I do feel like, you can, as a a human and as a spiritual being, which we all are, whether we are aware of it or not, then I think that there's really a balance that needs to be had. It's not a good thing if you're not looking at the difficult situations in your life. If you're in constant denial about that, or if you're wanting to, I guess, feel more at ease with your equilibrium, then at times there's compromises that can be made with energy. And I think that's what they were talking about, the differentiation of cells in your DNA. Certain alleles can turn on or off. They're kind of like light switches or qubits of information, and you can flip them depending on how you're processing the experience that you are perceiving this life to be. So it's helpful when you can choose which medium or which frequency you'd prefer to be on. Sorry, I just ate a whole bunch of Indian food. So yeah, it's definitely much easier to regulate your stance and your position in life in general if you've got a really strong frequency of your own. So one of the things that I have been able to kind of cultivate for myself is a middle ground. When I'm really upset or if I'm really happy, one or the other, I do try to temper myself. So in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, the temperance card can mean equilibrium or balance. And I think that's really what that reading was talking about. It's trying to understand for yourself what your genetic makeup is, what your equilibrium looks like, not other people's, and you're not using other people as your yardstick. You're using yourself as a yardstick and being your own best competition at all times. It's not about although it's great to collaborate with people, it's not about working together when you're doing spiritual work. It's about working on yourself. You are the only person that you can control. As much as we'd like to think that we control other people, we don't. The only person that you can run and make sure that the decisions are being enforced is your own life. And, if you've children, obviously you do the best that you can with them as well. But even with kids, they're not with you all day long. They've got teachers, they've got friends, they've got their own life. And that's our job, is to kind of teach them how to find their own center, or their own balance and medium, or their own, just their own sense of stability that they can always come back to within themselves. That really gives children and us a place to feel like we're home, even when we're not at home. Even if we're over at someone else's house or in a crowd full of people, if you've got a solid understanding of who you are, you can make decisions. And they don't have to be always, the popular decision. They can be unpopular decisions. That's fine. They just have to be in line with your personal spiritual mission and what you're trying to achieve. So, in any case, I was going to pull some cards on that, but I kind of feel like that might just be a preface for what we're probably about to talk about, which, I was really wanting to actually address spirituality a little bit. I've been observing that, energies are coming through in a whole plethora of different ways. So it's important to sometimes take an inventory of those energies and be willing to keep an open mind about how you want to work with them. So anyway, in flipping alial light switches on and off, your emotions are how your memories are imprinted into your system. So when you're feeling very strongly happy or very strongly unhappy, or whatever strong emotion you're feeling in that moment, it imprints on your mind. It imprints in your genetic code, in your DNA, and can trigger some of the nucleotide cells that are able to affect enzymes that then trigger your genetics one way or the other. So some of us can have predispositions for things such as certain diseases, or to be really great athletes, or to be really great singer, or to be very proficient in something. Some people are very predispositioned for certain things. Other people are not. Each of us have a very unique, like, fingerprint, like, signature on our cellular structures. So it's very important that you can resonate with your own cellular structure. And as long as you're doing that, I think there's always going to be a middle ground that you can come back to. Even if you're furious, or even if you're, highly uncomfortable, those are both parts of the experience of life. And so they don't have to consume anything. You can experience those in one moment, and the next moment move straight through it. Emotion is just emotion, and it's emotion, literally. Emotion is emotion. So just a nice little thing to remember. For myself, it's lovely to always keep that in mind and try to honor the fact that other people's opinions and their thoughts and their feelings are very, very valid. They are all valid. They are all more than able, and everyone has their own opinion and everyone has their own experience. So just a little something to keep in mind. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pull a quote from Hope, pure and simple. Dang, so we got 110 again. Nice little synchronicities there. It says, for 110, I wonder how many burdens is Jesus carrying for us that we know nothing about. Interesting. So I think, I'm going to say this about a billion times on this channel, I'm absolutely certain, but I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. If you are religious and if you do associate with Christianity, then I think this would be obviously pretty straightforward. If you just want to think about it as a universal energy, or the divine great spirit, whatever you call your deity of choice, then I think it's just talking about the moments in which we're not necessarily cognizant of our balance or our energies, and the moments in which a force or a being, a diviner that is much greater than ourselves, steps in to cause like divine intervention. Uh, I think that's what it's talking about. How many burdens is God, basically Jesus, or whatever prophet you prefer, carrying for us? It's like the footprints in the sand, you know. I don't know if you guys have seen that. I'm pretty sure most people have, but you know, there's a story about a man who's asking Jesus, "Why did you leave me alone? I see that there's only one set of footprints in the sand in certain places during the walk of my life." And Jesus looks at him and says, "My child, that's when I picked you up and carried you." And I love that because it's very much um, so such a parent kind of sentiment to want to help your children or want to help people around you who are maybe not doing as well as you are. And I think it's very indicative of the fact that there are neutrons, protons, you know, a whole bunch, there's a whole quantum world out there that can be balanced with electrons and um, quarks, bosons, and I mean, there's just so many different complex pieces to this moving thing that is life that I think it's very cool to, you know, also take a moment sometimes, slow down, and consider those moments in which God remains anonymous. So things look like a coincidence or they feel like a coincidence, and maybe they're not. Maybe it's, you know, all divine timing. Maybe it's all orchestrated in a way that we just can't understand in that specific moment. So that's also very legitimate. And if you believe in a multiverse, then, you know, you never know. There could be like another me sitting in a different multiverse right now having a totally different conversation with you guys. So, I mean, you got to keep an open mind about everything because nobody really knows all the answers, but we can put our intention forward, and as long as we keep those intentions pure and balanced, then I think it's a lot easier to just stay on a steady path. So I was on my way home tonight from Indian food, and there was this huge detour and all this hubbub, but I thought it was really cool because the car in front of me said vibe. So I just vibed out the whole time, and instead of getting frustrated by the traffic, it was a moment to myself where I could just crank the music and jam out. So it's about redefining. Hi. Hello. That's my cat Nala. Hello. She's very talkative sometimes, but you know, hi. Yeah. I'm doing a video right now. Do you want to help? Okay. Anyway, yeah, so it's, you know, it's about reclaiming the moments that you can for yourself and realizing that every moment is a blessing, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if you're stuck in traffic, even if you think nothing is ever gonna pan out the way you want it to, whatever. We all have those moments. You just can't get bogged down in them. And if you need to scream, scream. If you need to laugh, laugh. If you need, you know, do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. What you gotta do. Because it's when it really comes down to it, it's about you. So anyway, that's really all I had to say. I guess I'll draw from one more book maybe or something like that. I don't know. Singing the Soul Back Home. Anyone? Get excited. Okay. Oh, this is so cute. I love it. Okay. 155. I opened up to. And it says, Dancing with the Ancestors. Ancestral and traditional memory is retained in a variety of places, not only in the genes and customs of your family and people, but in songs, stories, and dances, in nonverbal communication, in places and symbols. Some of the oldest and most potent memories are stirred by dance, where the body itself becomes a receptacle, for memory. The rhythms, cadences, intervals of accompanying dance music are as redolent and memory awakening as odors. Because the whole body is involved, something else happens. Many societies dance not for their own enjoyment and recreation, but for the unseen audience of ancestors, spirits, and deities. Dance is rarely seen to be revolutionary, but the ghost dance, spread by the Patu Indian prophet Wavoka, okay, in the 1800s, in North America, was indirectly responsible for the last Indian War. A communal I'm so tongue tied. Sorry, guys. A communal trance dance was performed to beg the assistance of ancestors to help their descendants in a world that had become increasingly beleaguered by a restrictive U.S. government. Alarmed by the large assembly of Indians taking part in the dance, the government descended upon Wounded Knee, South Dakota, and massacred an entire Sioux encampment. This tragic overreaction sent many to join their ancestors. So that's kind of I don't like that example, to be honest with you. But I like the first part. It's talking about how you can use your body, the vibrations of your body, to more or less call out to your ancestors through dance. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw that earlier today. I actually did a workout video where I just danced the whole time. And it was because I needed to shift the energies from a more negative place that I felt they were coming from into a higher vibration. So in large part, that's why I dance. I love dancing. I always will. I always have. I danced for a company for like 11 years or something like that, between the bones. It was awesome. So in any case, I'm glad that I was able to share that with you guys. Definitely go check out the dance video if you feel like having a little workout. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I will see you soon. Bye.